Handled this. I guess we've... Oh yeah, we were finishing off the Empire, which... I ordered the scaling and such to take care of that. The Norshka, with their mighty armies. With their werekin and trolls and horse masters and skin wolves. Do they have marauder horsemen still?
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering, because the Norshka immediately upgraded all his marauder horsemen into horse masters.
Yeah, they still have horsemen with axes, and then horsemasters.
Yeah, at least the light wizard's going away.
It's close.
Keep in mind, your Vlad the Dad is currently upgraded with all kinds of bull.
Well, the only two things he gets is the Karstein ring, which increases his health regeneration,
Bull.
and Master of Beguilement, which increases his health point regeneration.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, he gets 2 HP regen things.
Yeah, that's just bullshit.
That's why he's swole.
Yeah, but in a normal fight, that would make your... Okay, how much does that cost in total? Because that would make you make it. I imagine that would make you take a massive hit to your army.
Grimgor got him down pretty quickly.
What do you mean gargoyle?
I said Grimgor.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Grimgor got him down pretty quickly, but his health regen kicked in, and he's been unable to outpace him.
I was gonna say gargoyles. Like, what do you got him riding? This is bullshit.
Yeah, Vlad doesn't get mounted.
Well, I don't know. I don't fucking play
Vlad the Dad wins.
Yeah, now playing without fucking mace tape. Now, how much did that gear cost? Is what I want to know.
You didn't even need the Karstein ring.
Bullshit. Regen. You don't know how much health he
regen
regen.
Doesn't kick in unless he gets lower than 20% health.
Yeah, and then he gets, and then you said it was close.
Yeah, you didn't get lower than 20%, which means the Karstein ring didn't kick off. So yeah, the Karstein ring, like 200.
Like how much HP it regened. Okay, so what we need to do...
I don't know how much HP it regened.
Well, that's where people who actually...
Blood Drinker, which is a constant self-augment that replenishes his health. That's like 200 gold, and then he gets the Karstein ring, which regens his HP for 40 seconds after it gets lower than 20%. Oh yeah, the Karstein ring, 173 gold, and the Blood Drinker, 173 gold.
So what, a unit of zombies?
Then he has an ability he can buy called the Hunger, which is worth 109 gold, which replenishes hit points. The Aura of Dark Grandeur, constant -4 leadership around himself. The Curse of Undeath, which is constant, affects everyone around himself, and it regens the HP of everyone around him. So not only can he regen his own HP like a motherfucker, he regens the HP of undead units standing around him like a motherfucker. Constantly. Also, I found out the fact that Master Necromancers are kind of shitlords because they don't help out in melee at all. But if you keep them just behind the front line, as long as they're not in combat, they regen the health and unit count of units around them.
Yeah, and then you have to factor in that the AI sucks. So you have to factor in that who's going to be charging behind your line at that point. What do you do when a glade dragon attacks your necromancer? What do you do when your necromancer dies? What happens when your necromancer dies? These are the things. Ah, Mercy's slave master got assassinated. Wow, it took you that long to go into round 2.
Fight! Oh yeah, that first charge in hurts. And he keeps interrupting the casting of Perseverance because it takes a long time to cast. Lance, still winning. Oh, that knockdown. Grim War take advantage.
Grimgor.
Oh no, Wog's triggered.
Why did you just say the G?
Wog, excuse me.
God. People that say the G.
Oh, Grimgor wins. Grimgor, why are you swole?
Because look at his damage.
Yeah, so turns out without his regen, Vlad the Dag is fucked.
Look at his damage. That's all I gotta say. Look at Grimgor's damage.
Oh my god, his weapon strength.
Yeah, he has incredibly low melee armor, but he just goops people. His whole deal is to beat you down before you beat him.
He has slightly higher melee attack, only 20 higher weapon strength, 42 more charge bonus. Yeah, they're
So what if
both
I
melee.
went to... Okay.
We shall weave the fates.
Oh.
What if I incorporated more bullshit?
Yes.
What about Grimgor versus Krell?
Krell?
Yeah, Heinrich Himmler has a specific spell that summons Krell at, basically a Chaos Warrior turned White King.
That's
Like,
an odd one.
Krell is always with Heinrich Himmler in the lore. Literally, they're inseparable. By magic, inseparable. So when Total Warhammer first came out and Heinrich Himmler didn't have Krell and had a line lampshading it with "Where's Krell?" people found it funny until the fucking Grim in the Grave added Krell in with his Lord of Undeath ability. Spawns Krell. So I'm gonna stand here for 100 some odd seconds until Krell comes off cooldown. Thank you for waiting patiently, Grimgor.
I was gonna say, that's not cheating at all. But then again, technically, aren't you just doing the Krell versus Grimgor?
Yeah, it's Krell versus Grimgor. It's not Heinrich. I just need Heinrich here to physically summon Krell.
A brutal business. Battle is a blood-soaked affair, limbs severed, bones exposed, men left for dead in the crow-soaked horror fields amongst scores of fallen friends and enemies. Strong weapons forged with time, sweat, and expertise mark the difference between victory and defeat. A good sword cuts clean through bones, severed heads and limbs where lesser weapons will merely maim. As instability grows across the world, so too does man's bloodlust and his desire for war and carnage on an ever grander scale. Weapon damage plus 20 for all armies of all factions, faction-wide. So that's on top of, not only am I getting that, but the Norshgar getting that, because they're vassaled.
Although Krell is a summoned unit, so he does degrade over time.
Get degraded.
Now.
It's super degraded.
Very well, I'll move.
Stop degrading me.
It is corrupt beyond your comprehension.
Oh yeah, Krell
Forward
even
unto
still
slaughter.
talks all this chaos. He's still a Chaos Lord after all.
Direct me,
Yeah.
dark gods.
Krell, armored, armor-piercing, damage dealer, causes terror. Oh, he's getting fucked. Oh, Krell. Get in there, Heinrich.
What happened to fucking Krell versus Grimgor Ironhide?
He's getting fucked.
Yeah, but what happened to the fight?
Grimgor, where the fuck are you going? Run, Heinrich, run! This is not what was meant to happen.
You sent him in.
Run! No! He turned around and started going after Heinrich. Okay, he's gone back after Krell. Shoot him in the back! You missed!
I guess we need to get up on shore.
Give me lightning. The gods direct me.
Yes, Heinrich, Krell would be impressed. In
Onward
fact,
to
Krell is right
destruction.
the fuck there.
What?
This Chaos Army.
Run away.
Cease.
This Chaos Rebellion that is just a bunch of Chaos Marauders and Warhounds, and it's just an enemy, and it's raiding the ground next to Marienburg, the last bastion of the Empire. This is the last. This is all you have to stand for, fucking. The Empire's fucked.
Okay, so with Heinrich constantly sitting there healing and debuffing his enemies, Krell wins.
Which I see.
You. That wasn't the point. That wasn't the fight.
The point was for shits and giggles.
The point was Krell versus Ironhide, and you put an outside factor.
The outside factor put himself in there with the fact that you cannot have Krell without Heinrich.
You could have backed off Heinrich to the edge of the map.
And then Grimgor came after him.
Oh yeah, sure he did. You put him there next to him. You probably had him sit there and watch the fight. You didn't put him at the edge of the map, and I know you.
Shut up.
I don't know why I went for kind of the Sauron thing on that.
Yeah.
Godslayer was resurrected, so where did Godslayer resurrect is the question.
Tempest incarnate.
Recruit hero, maybe? No, recruit lord. No, he's out. He's out somewhere. Wherever the hell the exalted hero is, I have no idea. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Back there. Anyways, we need to assault this motherfucker. Let's go ahead and save. Okay. Mercy Slave Master. Kill. Critical success. Good job, buddy.
By the eldritch I see.
By the way, I just love how your leaders get more and more OP because as they sit there, they just gain better and better units. I mean, well, they gain more and more buffs that apply to them permanently.
Now we shall weave the fates.
Okay, so what we need to do is...
God of mountains.
I guess disband one of these.
Are you a god?
One of these.
Ready.
One of these.
I will destroy.
One of these.
I am mountain god.
There, do that. And then what we do is we...
Star Crusher.
Because we need Chaos Knights in every portion of this army.
Dominance. Dominance. Herald of the Tempest. This serves the Dark Powers.
That'll take 2 turns each. Marienburg has fallen and has become a Norska outlet. It's become a Norska outlet store. Pick up all your finest Norska wares. Well, let's see. I have... yeah. Yeah, so if I disband one more of these, I can make one more Knights with Lances and we'll be good.
Ready for chaos.
We need to basically make up for our weakness, and our only weakness is we're slow. So I'm adding 4 units of Chaos Knights with Lances to every army. Because that last battle really showed off our weaknesses in our battle with the Border Princes and their 4 stack armies. Which most of it was artillery, of which we took care of pretty handily, and then it was a missile cav. So, Empire has been wiped for the world, I imagine I'm gonna get when I end this turn. Well, when this turn is over. Otherwise, there's some Empire that I can't see. What? What is this? You were attacking Chaos Rebels? Oh, they're Chaos Sorcerers attacking one of the Chaos Rebels. And yeah, we pretty much win, but there was no way he could attack without involving me. So yeah, let's auto-resolve that shit. The cowards of chaos are always destroyed by the stronger. Oh, look at these. And on top of it, I get to enslave captives. Let's sacrifice captives. Huh, that's weird. So I imagine I was able to enslave captives because they were chaos? I imagine I'd be able to do the same with Norska. Oh, I won. That was anticlimactic. I won. What was the win? I have to know, what was the win? I wiped out the Empire. Is that the win, or did I just conquer? Because I don't think I conquered enough. My leader from the very beginning was Kolek, not Archaon. I don't know why it says faction leader Archaon.
Because Archaon's the faction leader. Kolek's just the legendary lord. Like, if you don't play as Chaos, and you go to the fucking diplomacy screen, you will always be talking to Archaon.
I mean...
Even if you're playing it, even if you start with fucking...
I know, I get what you're saying. I get it. But I have to say, the main thing you can probably see from this event feed is how many times Kelton just suddenly disappeared to the warp.
Oh yeah, even if you're playing as
By the way,
Guild,
I noticed that they patched that several times so that they'd stop doing that.
oh, so I would stop.
Yeah, because it was basically the way they had the probability way too high, and it was basically based on if you used spells and how many you used in a fight. So anytime I would actually make use of you, you would disappear. And people bitched about it too. People really bitched about it. Anytime somebody would fucking use their Chaos Sorcerer other than an agent, they would disappear into the warp. This thing is just wrapping off what happened every turn. And how the factions changed. Yeah, at one point the Empire was was one of the strongest in the game right now, but I retreated to Norshka, vassalized all of Norshka. I eventually made my way. I got sick and tired of fucking Norshka not obeying my orders. That was what did it too. Well, no, not only that, but on top of that, I finally consolidated to make 3 armies, which, by the way, there was the Kolek Sun Eater stack, there was the other Death Sorcerer stack, but there was Reaper God as the Death Sorcerer Lord leading one of the armies. I kept on having to swap out leaders because they would assassinate me, they would assassinate Kolek, they would assassinate any random jobber lord I put in lead. So I got to the point where I would, where it's like, oh, Kolek Sun Eater, Reaper God, all that stuff. All when they would come back from being dead, I wouldn't put them in until I needed them. For instance, like Kolek Sun Eater, I need him to break down the gate. But I wouldn't put him into the army as the legendary lord until I needed him, because the between the border princes and the Empire, they would assassinate my fucking lords over and over again. So I was like, well, what if I run out of lords? Basically, was a concern for me. If I run out of lords, I'm fucked. Yeah, I basically broke down my army and reconstructed it several times, because basically what happened is the game got patched several times during my campaign. They made gore chariots. There used to be, once upon a time, you could create an entire army of possessed, what are those called? They're basically possessed Chaos Space Marines, basically. Whatever the hell they're called, they're listed. Yeah, Forsaken. They're listed as they're chaos chosen that were blessed too much.
Yeah.
Which technically they should become whatever the hell those things are called. I haven't played Chaos in forever. Chaos Spawn, yeah. Technically they should become Chaos Spawn, but I guess they're on their way. But once upon a time, Forsaken were actually as a broken as fuck unit. So much so that every Chaos used high Chevron Forsaken. Even though Forsaken were supposed to be vulnerable to like range fire, they weren't. They were basically as strong as Chosen with higher damage. And they were faster. They dished out ridiculous amounts of damage, they had practically unbreakable morale, and they were faster. But then they got patched. Then the new hot shit was the Gorebeast Chariot, because the Gorebeast Chariot, while not being that effective as a unit, the calculations, the way it calculated army-wise, the Gorebeast Chariot...
auto-resolve everything.
Yeah, the Gorebeast Chariot was... If you had an entire army of Gorebeast Chariots, it would be like, nah, he just wins. He just wins. He's got... Have you seen how sick these chariots look? He wins. Then there was the time where, like, they corrected that. So what I tried... And I basically was really out of resources. So what I resolved to do is I created a bunch of stacks of armies with only a lord in it. And then I had them all have shrines to chaos. So I was constantly generating around 7,000 per turn. So basically, I built, like where I'm not supposed to have a home... I put all the lords, at least, with that Chaos Shrine, I put them in the Chaos Wastes, like far deep into the Chaos Wastes, so no army would dare go near them. So, and then I ran around, having 7,000 wealth generated per turn. But eventually the Empire started trying to go after them, so I kept on having to retreat back to basically protect what was my home. And I eventually disbanded all of those because I had no choice. I had to. I was getting nowhere because they were constantly. Anytime I would back off from defending those lords, they would go for them again. Despite, if you go into the Chaos Waste, you suffer attrition like a bitch. Not Chaos, but as any other faction, if you go anywhere near the Chaos Waste, you get attrition and not normal attrition. You get fucked attrition.
Yeah, fucked attrition.
Supposedly. I haven't really
Strigoi
seen...
Ghoul King on Terrorgeist almost beats Grimgor.
Who does?
A Strigoi Ghoul King on Terrorgeist.
I don't even know what the hell Strigoi Ghoul King is.
Think of a ghoul. Now think of it being as big as a crypt horror, and it being a legendary lord. Strigoi Ghoul King.
By the way, in this thing, I'm pretty sure I won like 22 battles and only lost 4.
Holy shit!
And this is considering this is an 800 turn campaign. Out of 800 turns, I only fought like maybe 20 to 30 battles and lost only 4.
Go, Isabella von Karstein.
I can see why they don't need a credits for this game. This event feed is the credits. Seriously, it's going through every turn and every event that happened and then going to the next turn. And all it shows is just the map and how it changed. Holy shit, man. Then the border princes and the Empire became like neighboring powers. And the border princes became like the 3rd strongest faction. I was the 2nd strongest faction. And the dwarves were the 1st. I'm really disappointed that annihilating the Empire actually ended the campaign. But it wasn't even me who killed the Empire. It wasn't like they would have been much of a challenge. But
Oh, so close.
I wish I would have gotten to fight the border princes, to be honest. The border princes were so strong, and they were basically the last remnants of the Empire after the Empire died.
Isabella von Karstein, so close.
I wanted to kill the border princes so bad. They were a constant thorn in my side, not allied with the Empire, and they were defending the Empire to the bitter end. They weren't allied at all. It was annoying.
Oh yeah, I forgot how fucking stupid Manfred von Karstein is. He has both the lore of death and of vampires. His spell list is so long.
Yep. And yeah, for some reason the vampire counts and the dwarves just resolved to silently hate each other. They didn't want to go against me. The vampires constantly demanded money from me, but never sought retribution. For some reason they never sought retribution. They were consolidated to hold their own grounds where they did. And the Empire was fine to just kind of secure the territories that I kept raising. The Empire wanted to wipe out Norshka, and so did the border princes. But as soon as I retreated back to Norshka to consolidate my armies and make 3 hordes, they tried to attack Norshka, and Norshka was waiting for them on the shore. That was hilarious. They tried to attack Norshka as soon as I fell back. As soon as it's like, oh god, the Chaos, he's not attacking us anymore. Quick, we must wipe out Norshka while the Chaos is weak. It's like, Chaos isn't weak, man.
That's how you overcast.
Like, the Chaos isn't weak. The Chaos is just gathering up more powers of Chaos.
I never knew that's how you overcasted a spell.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
If a spell has like 2 little arrows under it on the wheel, you can click it a second time to attempt to overcast the spell, which has added effects. Like,
I never knew that either.
Raised Dead, if you overcast it, brings a unit of skeletons instead of zombies.